Reaper crisis, borrowed time. Yeah. Three different stories. Three people feel they're living on borrowed time. Hello court, I'm Mark from Fellows Court. I'm 24 and far from the mellow sort. I was around the slug beaters and mug eaters, fuck peelers, and most of the big drug dealers. I had laws of mats and splashed out and was spending chips on the yard and house and flashed out rented whips. I got Margie pearls in a big house. I had parties with girls in their tits out. Trap mode, I went hype with grind hard coke sales. Crack soda, spent nights in 5-star hotels. We were car renters and yard lenders and even bartenders. Know us for being large spenders. I should have saved the bread for pickles with the tough dummies. Instead I gave the feds a little bit of hush money. If I can change it, I would have made more and spent less, or stayed poor and stressed feds. Sprayed fours on pretend friends, laid whores and rent peds, or prayed more to prevent stress. I learned that some rob, cause one night of a slut turned into gunshots and knifed in the gut. Things got a bit fucked, cause one night at this strip club, this big slut glanced at this rich fuck. So I bought a glass and then glanced at the slut bucket and bought a dance and thought that I must fuck it. I had too much to drink and got too fucked to think. Went back to hers, normally I don't do such with links. It was the back and the hips, cause I spent a stack on this chick. Went back to the crib, bent and smashed on a drink. So this minky skrek and stinky sket wanted kinky sex. So I simply said, and she kissed my mouth to stop my talk. Pin me down with lots of force, lick me down with lots of sauce, and strip me down to my boxer shorts. And there's whore and freak handcuffed me to the bed, and before I can speak, man snuffed me in the head. Now I got gunmen commanding hard brown and ash, and the dumb skrek demanded large amounts of cash. And the fuck boys stayed and trashed my house so I wouldn't make enough noise. They taped and gagged my mouth, and not caring for the fraggles in the slums only had me staring down the barrel of the gun. And for the grands I had, I got smothered in snuff. I think the plan went back, cause I was covered in blood. And the masked gunmen got the jewels and a swiller and blast one leg, cause they still pull the trigger. So I got popped to the leg and a shot skinned my head. I think someone heard the shots and called the cops and the feds, cause I was shifting on the common grind, drifting cause I'm full of crime, and I feel to giving cause I'm living off of borrowed time. Hello, I'm Pam and I'm 23 with 4 kids. I had a nice little mortgage in Shoreditch. I had a friend with troubled kids who struggled with paying the bills and had to work a double shift and to have crazy jib. I fucking screw ballers that chuck a few quarters, bucket loose talkers, suck cruise corners, or mug new snorters, or babysit a friends, sons and 2 daughters. So one night I had to babysit all 5 of the brats. So I dived in a cab and arrived to the flats. I walked up the stairs cause the lift don't work. I had all sort of beers and a spliff in the purse. I arrived to the crib, smoked up and I drunk more. I had the 5 kids, one open the front door. I could have been snort up, maybe sitting in the Benz. In the end I got caught up, babysitting for a friend. And I got drunk, licked, effed on the rose. And one of the dumb kids left on the stove. I bummed my nose off and drunk the rolls off, dozed off. Good thing that I never took my clothes off. I smoked enough to cover the room with clouds of the smelly. And then I woke up from the loud sounds of the telly, and I felt smashed and thought I smelt gas. I never held back, so I called and yelled Max. And I told little Max to go and get the light. So unaware that the flat was set alight, with no sight of the youths, I light up the zoo. Unaware the match would catch the gas and light up the room. I got shook and thought I would choke in a massive way, cause I looked and I saw the smoke in the passageway. So you got the flats burning and the cops parring us, and the brats squirming and the dogs barking up. I got down on the house floor, not counting on the punks, and had the crowd on the ground floor shouting at jump with no type of info, only the sound of the smoke alarm. I dived out the window, hit the ground and only broke an arm. If I stayed to wait for the fire brigade, I would have fried to a stage where I would have died on the day. I should not have survived, even the church thinks so. I'm only alive cause I dived at the first window, but I still found time to grab the weed and the cigs, the speed and the spliff, but still leave the kids. I no longer holler guys or full of grime or swallow dimes, cause I feel I'm living on borrowed time. Hello court, I'm Dave and I'm from Walthamstow Central. And after what I went through, I ought to go mental. Cause one night I had to fly out, but I weren't comfy with leaving. But I had to fly out cause of a company meeting. So I packed the shit at the crib, mapped the trip, late for the flight and had to kick. Within a short hour, I had a short shower, bought powder and drove fast to test the car's horsepower. Rushed at the crib and had the yard trash. Clutched at the whip and had a car crash. I got drunk and high on the monk and tie and was dumb to drive and the only one to survive. So I was passing all the fools as man see fit and answering all the calls on the hands-free kick. Blaring out creeps, bangers, airing at speed cameras, driving fast and driving past pricks and cheap bangers, driving in the fast lane, passing the speed limit, striving to catch the last plane, blasting creeps lyrics. I took off creeps and I put on Dipset, looked down for a split set, then bye, that's the whip wrecked. It was too late to plan on escapes or slam on the brakes. I just put my hands on my face. I hit a dad and his kids and I blame the fast, cause I had no aim to crash, just a plane to catch. And I see the smash whip with the airbag popped out and the trap kids with their dad knocked out. And I mourned and got drawn into what he felt, but he was torn and should've worn his seatbelt. I only crashed into the car cause I was drinking and driving. Then I was trapped in the car thinking I'm dying, and I couldn't help but think of death as I stink assess. With drink on my breath, with no pigs in sight, I plan to dip and dive, slip and slide, kick and hide, and then ditch the ride. I could've fled and hide to be mean, slide in the scene, cause the feds arrived on the scene. So I told the pigs to go and help him on the left, cause I didn't want the pigs to smell the drink on my breath. And so the head on smash and dead on crash, only had my legs on packs of ice cubes. If I hadn't cooked my brain with bare snort, booked the plane with clear thoughts and took the train to the airport. I drove careful and followed signs. I wouldn't think with a hollowed mind. I feel I'm living on borrowed time.